Hey guys, it's your boy Omir. Today we're going to talk about my 5 reasons why I am switching to Sony. So let's get straight into it. For me, autofocus is everything. Specifically, eye autofocus. Eye autofocus is nothing short than amazing. If you try it, you're going to love it. I don't meet too many people who try eye autofocus who say they don't like it. But even if you didn't like that, there's face tracking. There's many modes of tracking that help you get the job done and quick and reliable and more efficient than a Canon or a Nikon can. The main thing you have to remember when using a Sony is because you can use the eye autofocus, composition becomes 10 times easier than normal. Usually you have to focus and then compose on a Nikon or a Canon if you're outside of the focus ring. But because on the A9 they go out to the edges, you can have your model way off to the left and just get your composure down and your composition down immediately, instead of doing a 2-step process. It's a 1-step process. Speed is everything in this business. So if you can do something quick and efficiently, you have more time to get more work done and to make more money. So for me, I see myself making more money by switching to Sony because of the speed of the camera. That alone will speed up my process with shooting and my editing and my delivery process. Second is frames per second. The Sony A9 getting 20 frames per second is crazy. But how does that practically make my job easier? For me, if you're shooting hockey or sports or anything and you can get 20 frames per second, I have more chances of getting that shot. It's literally it looks like video. When you hit it and you're doing 20 frames per second, it looks like video. You play it back, you run through the images, it looks like video. But it's not, it's pictures. But anyways, it's amazing. And now that the A7R III does 10 frames per second, that's even more amazing to me because you're gonna get the more megapixels to go with the frames per second. Now on the Nikon D850 here, we can get about a max 7 frames right now in its current configuration. If I add the battery grip, which will run me around $1,000, it can only get up to 9 at that point. The Nikon D850 is a great camera. If you get it, you're gonna love it. You won't find any reason probably to hate this camera. There was a couple factors for me why I decided not to use the D850 and go with the Nikon brand. And that had solely to do because snap bridge is the probably single worst application I've ever used on a DSLR. And for it to be 2017 and you don't have proper way to transfer pictures from the camera to my smartphone, that was a deal breaker. That to me was just bad business decision by them by not revamping SnapBridge. If you don't care about SnapBridge, you're gonna love this camera. For you, this will probably be the best camera you'll ever own. The image quality on it is amazing. You will not go wrong if you own a D850. But again, for me, that was a deal breaker. Back in June, July, and August, I was kind of debating on completely switching to Sony. I changed my mind and decided to hold off, and I wanted to wait on the A7R III, and I wanted to see what that was gonna look like. Was Sony gonna make the improvements like they did in the A9? And they did that. They made those improvements. And to me, those single improvements that they made with the battery and working with the battery grip and all those little incremental improvements that they made make the camera using the same autofocusing system is gonna make this transition for me easier, more efficient, and better overall as a business, which again, that's how I look at this. The key here is, for me, is if I'm gonna put the investment into the gear, how long will it take me to recoup that investment? And what brand you invest in determines the quality of work you're gonna have in the next 5 to 10 years. Again, I don't necessarily believe in brand loyalty. I don't believe I should be, solely tied to one brand or another. But the flexibility of the Sony line and them answering a lot of the issues of the Sony shooters, and I wasn't even a Sony shooter, and I was ecstatic that they came out with all these upgrades in the camera system, and I'm like, wait, I've got the 5D Mark IV, and it doesn't do half of what this Sony can do. Number 3, customization of the buttons. On the Sony A9, you can customize everything. It makes shooting so much more comfortable. I mean, we're talking about high-end products here, right? So if you can customize a camera to work for your needs, that is, really can't put a value on that. You know, simple point. Let's get this out of the way right now. The Nikon D850. If I want to change the ISO, I've got to hold ISO, then I got to scroll the wheel just to change the ISO. It's a 2-finger process. On the Sony A9, all I have to do is scroll the wheel, but it doesn't automatically come out the box like that. I was able to customize that button to make it strictly for ISO and strictly to change it up or down with the scroll of the wheel. That's the kind of customization I'm talking about. You can't do that on this camera, on the D850. You can't do that on the Canon 5D Mark IV. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 custom buttons on one camera. Now, again, I mean, you can take that for what you want. I mean, for you, maybe you're good. You don't need that customization. But for the way I shoot, that's 2017, baby. That's 2018 stuff. Not this 2014, 2013 style. Press the button and scroll to change ISO. Just make it one button. Make it so I can customize this camera the way I want it. Number 4, innovation. Sony keeps innovating. They keep putting money and R&D into their products, giving people what they want. Not just saying, this is what we're gonna give you. Nikon, very innovative with this D850. Truly an amazing camera. If you're a Nikon shooter, get the D850. Just for me, I can't do Nikon. Canon is a great company. They just are not innovative. You know, great service support probably, you know, if you need it, but they are not very innovative. They don't give the shooters what they are really wanting. And when Sony is giving me what I want and I'm not even a Sony shooter, why the hell am I staying with Canon? This investment is a company investment. This is something we are doing as a company. We're not just doing this for fun. This is not just, you know, me trying a camera out because it's some hot new camera. I could care less about that. I was looking for the camera that answered all the questions I had for 2017, 2018, and 2019. What is this game plan we can build for 2018, 2019 around the gear that we're using and to get the most out of our gear and to get the money back for what we're putting into our gear. It's a light camera. My wife shoots, she's starting to shoot, she's learning how to shoot. I don't really want to give her a DSLR that's as big as heavy as this. I want her to use something that's light and more portable. If I take this battery grip off, and if I put a 24-70 on here, she's gonna love this camera. You know, she's gonna be able to get this camera. It's nice and small, it's nice and light in her hands, and she's gonna be able to use it for whatever she wants. You know, and that's the thing you have to remember about Sony, is the breakdown of these cameras is just, this is nothing in my hands. If you put a 70-200 on there, you've got something. Number 5 to me is the versatility of all the Sony products. The Sony A9 shoots great 4K, and it also shoots great pictures. Because Sony provides us with the ability to shoot great video and great pictures, it provides me with a great way to give my customers and my clients great material at a price that they can afford. I don't have to run out and buy a C300 or something, or a C200, and then buy a 1DX Mark II for hotkey, whatever it is. The main thing to remember is that when you're putting money into these cameras like Canon, like Nikon, like Sony, it's important that they give us what we want. And if you're not getting that from the camera brand, then why put the money in with them? I'm gonna go ahead, I'm jumping ship. Sorry, Canon. It was fun. It's been a good, fun 10 years. I've really enjoyed using Canon for the last 10 years. It was a pleasure. But Sony was my first love. That was technically the first camera I bought, and they got me back. So let's go, man. Let's have some fun. Let's go out there and shoot, whether you're shooting Canon, whether you're shooting Nikon, or if you're shooting Sony. Let's get some amazing images. The main thing is to get out and shoot. YouTube videos are great, but shooting is where it's at. So let's go.